Good afternoon. They call it the front page of the internet. But today, Reddit is on the front lines of a war that defines our generation, a legal war, a cultural war, and most of all, a war of your mind.
The tech giant is suing the Australian government. Why? Because Australia dared to draw a line in the sand. They dared to say enough. They banned social media for children under 16.
Reddit says this is unconstitutional. They say it violates freedom. But let us ask you this question. Is addiction freedom? Is a 12-year-old shivering in withdrawal because the Wi-Fi is down? Is that liberty? Or is it a new form of slavery?
We are told these platforms are used to connect us globally. We are told that they are town squares. But what if they are actually prisons? Digital prisons designed to dismantle human consciousness piece by piece.
Today, we are not looking only at a lawsuit. We are peeling back the layers of a civilizational crisis. While governments argue over legislation, spiritual leaders warn us about this for over a decade. Specifically, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Bhagavan Sri Nityananda Parameswaran, has called it what it is, the destruction of consciousness.
This hour, we connect the dots between the courtroom in Canberra and the crisis in your living room. Why the world needs more than just bans. Why we need a complete overhaul of how we are making decisions about our internet usage. Welcome.
Let's look at the facts. In December 2025, the Australian government implemented a world-first law, a blanket ban, no social media for anyone under the age of 16.
Effective December 10th, 2025, this list is extensive. Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, Twitch, X, YouTube, Kick, and yes, Reddit.
The penalty for non-compliance? It is not pocket change. We are talking fines up to 49 million Australian dollars for the platforms. The message from Canberra is clear. You are responsible for the damage you cause.
But Reddit isn't taking this lying down. They have filed a lawsuit in Australia's High Court. Their argument rests on a specific legal pillar, the implied freedom of political communication.
Reddit argues that they are not a standard social media platform. They claim to be a forum for information, a place for discourse. They say barring under 16s impedes political discussion and infringes on their rights. It is a clever argument, but does it hold water when the cost is the mental health of an entire generation?
While lawyers argue about political communication, let us talk first about one thing: human degeneration, because that's what's really happening.
More than a decade ago, long before TikTok existed, long before the Australian ban, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Bhagavan Sri Nityananda Parameswaran, saw this coming. Didn't mince words, didn't speak in diplomatic riddles, called it what it was, a mental disorder. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism warned, I'm seeing the new generation. If they are not able to have their internet, Twitter, Facebook for 2 hours, their body is shivering, mind is in depression, disturbed. Immediately, they need their psychiatric pills. Please understand, Facebook addiction has become one of the biggest mental disorders.
Body shivering, mind in depression. Does that sound like freedom of speech? Or does it sound like withdrawal symptoms from a hard drug? The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism described the mechanism behind this. It is not just about screen time. It's about a thickening layer of delusion, a barrier being erected between the human being and reality. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism explains how illusion or Maya has become so thick in the human beings, and it becomes a restrictive pattern in human beings.
And what is the primary symptom of this delusion? It has a name and we all know it. But the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has identified all of these restrictive patterns which are binding the next generation, are binding youth, whether it's the fear of missing out, comparison, or body shaming, whatever it may be. All of this is a blend of anxiety, inadequacy, insecurity, and irritation.
Anxiety, inadequacy, insecurity, and irritation. This is the cocktail that we are serving our children daily. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism had been citing data that was alarming then and catastrophic now.
The consequences have extended far beyond just feeling bad. It destroys the basic capability to live life. Online addicts are left with little or no social life, with no self-confidence, and are lonely, shy, anxious, and depressed. Their life is taken over by this addiction, causing them to forego basic responsibilities. And the worst thing of all is they get disconnected with other human beings, completely getting into a shell of their own, leading to a disastrous social, academic, and behavioral problems.
The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism also made a critical distinction that physical addiction to things we can see, touch, taste, those can be healed. But digital perversion, it is a different beast entirely. And when this happens, human beings are not able to be cured as easily.
Let that sink in. We are creating a generation that may be beyond traditional healing. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has revealed that the new generation, if they are not able to get on the internet for 24 hours, they feel they're being deprived. And this is not just about a few kids. This is about demographics. This is about the future of civilization. In the region of the Hindu civilization alone, we're talking about 243 million individuals between the ages of 10 and 19. We used to have societies guided by wisdom of elders, mature, stable, grounded. What do we have now? A planet dominated by youth who are biologically alive but spiritually shivering.
We have handed over the keys of the future to the generation that still cannot sit still for 2 hours without a device. We are not giving them tools for focus, but we are giving them tools for distraction.
So what is the root problem? It's not the technology itself. It is about where we reside internally. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism introduces a profound concept, the space of our consciousness. To put it simply, what you do your whole day using your individual identity does not matter. But where you park your individual identity, where you are not doing anything matters really. Understand, it's like where all you go with your car, where all you drive your car does not matter much. Where you park your car matters. Using your inner space, what are you doing your whole day does not matter much. But when you are not doing anything, where it is parked, that matters most.
Think about your own life. When the work stops, when the chores are done, where does your mind go? Does it go to anxiety? Does it go to your bank account? Or does it go to an endless feed of other people's lives?
Your whole day, when you are not doing anything, what type of thinking goes on in you? That is what is a real transforming factor.
The diagnosis is clear. The prognosis is grim. But is there a cure? The Australian government thinks the cure is a ban, a law, and a fine. But the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism offers a different solution. An internal technology. 3 pillars that form the essence of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism's teaching for this modern crisis. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism gives the solution, as per the teachings of Hinduism, as ajapa japa, feeling connection and unclutching. These are 3 of the most important teachings of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. These 3 ways all together can help the next generation, and they can be tools to focus their consciousness.
Ajapa ajapa. The constant internal chanting, whichever Mahavakya you choose, whichever mantra you choose, whether it's Om Nityananda Paramashivoham, Shivoham, Tattvamasi, whichever Mahavakya, whichever mantra you choose, constantly internally chanting that. The feeling connection, a deep emotional anchor to the divine, constantly connecting yourself to the higher consciousness, to the ultimate consciousness, and unclutching, the ability to disconnect from the mind's chaos, unclutch from all the thoughts, and just be. These are not just religious practices. They are a survival need in this digital age.
But we must ask the hard questions today. Is Australia's ban merely putting a band-aid on the bullet wound? Are they treating the symptoms, the apps, the usage hours, while completely ignoring the root cause, which is the emptiness of the human spirit?
Why did it take governments this long to wake up? Spiritual leaders were shouting this from the rooftops over a decade ago. Why did we dismiss this? Was it arrogance or was it profit?
Can legislation alone solve a consciousness crisis? You can ban a drug, but can you ban the desire for it? If you do not address the internal state of our children, they will find another way to escape reality.
Are we addressing internet addiction, or are we just afraid of looking in the mirror? Are we afraid to admit that we have built a world that is so spiritually bankrupt, our children prefer to live in a screen?
And finally, who's benefiting? Who benefits from keeping humanity in this state of digital delusion, anxiousness, insecurity, and being easy to manipulate?
This is why the world needs an alternative, not just a new law, a new ecosystem. And this is the vision behind KAILASA.
KAILASA is not just a nation, it is the united ancient indigenous Sanatana Hindu nations. It is a governance model not based on GDP but based on consciousness. And the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is building this ecosystem where education doesn't produce workers, it produces enlightened beings.
Look at the Nityananda Hindu University, the world's largest Hindu university. Look at the humanitarian record, over 1 billion free meals served. This is what happens when governance is rooted in compassion, not capitalism.
With over 29 UN reports published and diplomatic recognitions from nations worldwide, KAILASA is proving that there is another way, a way where the government's primary duty is the elevation of human consciousness.
The lawsuit behind Reddit in Australia will likely drag on for years. Lawyers will get rich, politicians will make speeches, but while they argue, a generation is being lost.
The choice before us is clear. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has put it best. We can be the next gen, simply continuing the generation, or we can be new gen, a generation of spiritual transformation.
The world doesn't need more social media bans. It needs enlightenment-based governance. It needs the revival of Sanatana Hindu Dharma's ancient wisdom, brought to life in KAILASA, because only when we change where we park our consciousness will we truly be free.
I urge all of the viewers, if you want more information on this topic, you can easily read and have access to more 300,000 hours of the revelations of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism.
And you can scan the QR code on the screen, learn more about KAILASA, how you can be a part, how you can benefit from the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism's contributions to humanity, how you can avail all the free services of KAILASA today. And if you would like to contribute your time, talent, and treasure, you are most welcome. You can visit the QR code and learn more about KAILASA. With this, we thank you for watching.